Broken Glass Calibrations is a creation that I worked on as part of my senior work at Bennington, and it specifically had to do with nightmare world. My whole senior work was surrounding this idea of dream world, so the images that we see in our dreams, and I was working off of a lot of personal material for this piece. I wanted to do a video piece because I felt like I could get more into the cultivation of really landing the viewer in a very specific sensation. And I really enjoy making sound scores and experimenting with different sounds set to movement. And so for this, I was really inspired by repetitions in particular in nightmare world, and how these repetitions kind of show up and create this strange unison amongst themselves. The repetition of maybe seeing a certain image or a certain theme in a nightmare, and how those images and themes come back and play with each other in this strange sort of memory. And going into the sound score creation for this was really exciting because I had some great collaboration with Kai Schaefer, and together we worked on capturing live sounds at the filming space, including the glass shards being crunched and crushed around that you hear. And then I also used a lot of archived tapes in the Bennington Music Library and played them backwards on the reel-to-reel, and recorded that and layered it with sounds of our breath, of all the dancers, and our sounds of breath. And working with Divine and Asia was amazing. They had incredible ideas as to how to capture my perspective of this dream world, this nightmare world cycle. And they helped a lot with how to frame the video and how to capture the moving bodies in ways that I just couldn't really imagine all the time. Being on the inside and the outside sometimes is challenging to really put the whole piece together. But they were able to really ground me in the possibilities, the realistic possibilities of how to create the work.
Give me another one of those. That's fabulous. Can we go in a circle?
About 3/4 of the way through the film, there's a sort of change, and the movements are played in reverse, interspersed with cuts of stillness from the dancers. And this was really to portray this aspect of just shock and confusion, and also clear messages that are sent through nightmare, and how those images are repeated and what stays and what gets left behind and what sort of gets mixed up and turned upside down, and how does the movement being interspersed with the sound of breath and this confusing sound score, how does that all mix up to create this sort of sense that I'm trying to explain the whole time of really what is nightmare world, or what are nightmares in dreams, or how do you define a nightmare? How does this definition come to be? And this sort of strange eeriness that's not necessarily violent, it's not necessarily overtly awful, but for me it's really how a lot of my nightmares sort of seem. It's just a very strange setting, and then some sort of weird, perturbed imagery. And so that sort of is what this film was based off of and how it came to be in the end. And it was a joy to make. The dancers, all of which are extremely talented, worked with me along the process with just such open-heartedness and open-mindedness. Mira Fowler, Anu Piconio, Emily Heath, Mel Lowenthal, and Emily Siri were all also part of this project. In the live space, when I created my senior show, which was an hour long, piece and had dance and music, and then this film was part of it. But all of those dancers were extremely helpful and co-created this work. And it was a joy to work with them and a real honor. And it's really exciting coming back to this after almost 2 years after having created it. And yeah, so please enjoy.
That's crazy. Oh my god.
That's so
Wait, did you get anything in mind?
Oh yeah, shit.
Yeah.
No, I bet it's good. That's me on picture.
All teeth.
Oh, that's
Should've
so
put some chapstick.